Good morning and a warm welcome to Frugalful, my wee channel all about budgeting, simple living on a low budget and yet living a full life. So today's video is all about a topic that is so close to my heart and that is eco-frugality. So I'm looking forward to exploring with you ways that I cultivate joy in my life and embrace my frugal lifestyle while also feeling that I'm giving to others and to the planet and doing something loving for our beautiful earth. And it's ways of giving that are just a complete win-win, as I say. Good for my budget, but also I know that it's kind of generating that sense of abundance and gratitude, which is so valuable, and knowing that it's making some kind of wee difference, however small, to someone or something out there. And I do believe there's a ripple effect of that. These are just ideas, these are just things that I feel really positive about in my life, that I feel work well for me, and I hope that they can be helpful ideas for others, or very kind of reaffirming ideas for others who do the same things, and just nice to know that there are other people out there who feel the same about that. And yeah, and I really hope you enjoy it. And anything that I say or suggest, or not suggest, but share that I like to do, it doesn't mean I'm not shoulding on anybody. I'm not saying anybody else should or shouldn't do these things or whatever. You know, it's your life, it's your decision. There's 1,000,000% not me saying should here, and there's never any judgment if someone chose not to do the same things, you know. We are all independent and it's our life to live as we see fit. And, you know, people do incredible things, but we all are moved in different ways and live our lives in our own ways. But as I say, for me, I just love to be able to share some inspiration that I find personally, and then if that's useful for anybody else, then wonderful. So I'm gonna show you a few wee bits and pieces in my day today for a few examples, and then I'll be back later and we can carry on chatting about this really interesting way of thinking about frugality. So heading out to meet a friend, we're going for a walk. Frugal social activities is the first thing that I was going to mention today, and going out for a walk when the weather's good is a great frugal social activity that is kind to the planet. And I have recently put out a video about 50 frugal ways to socialize. So please check out that video, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy today's. Without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, I like to do wee things to help the local wildlife, and one of those things very regularly is feeding the birdies. So I've got a couple of bird feeders in the garden, and I buy these fat balls. We have a shop in the UK called B&M, and they sell like refill. I have a tub here, hang on. I have a tub. So the first time I bought the tub, and then now what I do is I buy the refill bags. So that helps keep the cost down, and yeah, I love to put the birdie fat balls out for them, just to help them out, because it's harder for them finding food. And also my cat, who is a house cat, she really enjoys the cat TV, so she watches them eat their food and it keeps her entertained and happy. So it's helping the birds and the kitty cat. So gonna feed the guys and then heading out for a walk, and I'll show you a few things while out today. See you later. Okay, so nice wee cherry blossom tree there. So the chocolate cravings were big today. Doesn't happen to me that often, but when it does, it's pretty powerful. So I needed chocolate and I needed it fast. But one of the things that I'm trying to be conscious about is so difficult, because I feel like whatever choices we make as food shoppers, it's impossible to avoid it being high emissions in some way, because a lot of things, even groceries, can be imported, so they've travelled. But sometimes when things are locally produced, it uses more energy than importing them. So you can't win. It's a really difficult one. I just try and weigh things up as much as I can. But what I am trying to do is start looking at the ingredients more. So when it comes to chocolate, and it's actually hidden in a lot of things, palm oil, palm fats. I'm really trying to avoid palm fats and palm oils now. So when I buy chocolate, for example, there, and I look at the wrapper and try and check, and I'm trying to only choose the things that have no palm oil or sustainable palm oil. But it's difficult because it's in so many things. So I managed to find some delicious looking mint chocolate there. It was more expensive. It was £2 instead of about $1.20 for the same size. But I had an Asda rewards voucher for £1, so it only cost me £1 instead of £2. So, and I'll enjoy it more because I know that it's kinder. But it's difficult because a lot of the choices can be more expensive. So, it's one of the dilemmas. It's definitely not always possible, but if the weather's good, I do like to try and get my washing out on the line wherever possible. It's so much nicer when things are air dried outside. It just feels fresher, I think. Also uses up less energy, so less energy bill price issues, and better for the planet. And then when the weather's bad, or in the winter, things like these kind of clothes airers. I've got some over radiator ones and one bigger clothes horse I use sometimes. So they help with air drying things. I don't actually own a tumble dryer, so that's not even an option for me. But that's good for the wallet, or good for my pocket, and good for the planet too. And then if I had things like lots of bedding to get dried, or towels, then this dehumidifier can help with that. And it's quite energy efficient. So that, as well as using the clothes airers, means I don't need to put the heating on as much to get stuff dried in the winter. Speaking of heating, another wee eco-frugality idea is having the thermostat as low as is comfortable. So for me, I've now got my body used to using it at 15. And if I was cold, then I put on extra layers. And that seems to be going so well. Well, so far it seems to be going well. It was fine for that winter just there because I was using the hoodie as well. And then there's also using the timer on the heating controls. So my heating in the winter comes on. These aren't the exact times, but they're two quite small windows it comes on for usually. I try and use it on a timed rather than the constant in the winter. Helps my pocket and helps Earth too. And then there's two other wee things to do with laundry. Actually, I'm going to try that a little bit more as we talk. So whenever I do washing, I always make sure that I dry inside this rubber, because it helps the washing machine live for a lot longer. if if there's moisture left in here in between washes, it goes all horrible and mouldy and gunky. But not only that, but if the rubber seal starts to wear, then it can start causing issues for the machine itself. And to avoid any expensive repairs, just keeping on top of that, I find helps a wee bit too. And it also reduces, well, hopefully it means a long time in between buying washing machines, so that reduces on manufacturing as well. And one other thing to do with laundry and clothes related, well, two things actually. One thing is buying secondhand. I'll talk about that in a wee minute, a bit more. But the other thing, and sorry if any males watching this, sorry, but gross as it might sound, washable period products, and there's also something called, either you can get one called the Moon Cup and one called the Diva Cup, that are like wee silicone cups that you put inside. So the washable ones save on having to buy sanitary towel products. In the long run, it saves money to do that. People could even make their own. It'd be easy to make your own fabric sanitary products. I bought mine years back. They were not expensive at all. Got them on a deal. They've lasted for years. It's so much better for the environment. And yeah, in the long run, it saves money. Definitely. Same with these Diva Raw Moon Cups, they save on having to buy tampons. And again, it's less waste for the planet. Switching off lights when not in the room is another one that's good for our pockets, but also the planet. And another thing to do with the washing machine, hold on. That was the other thing I meant to say as well, is lowering the temperature of the washes. I find that really helps. I almost always, 99% of the time, I use the Daily Quick 30-degree cycle. Washes things absolutely fine. They're quicker, although it kind of runs on its own time zone, this machine. But yeah, it is definitely quicker than the warmer cycles, and it's wasting less energy again, which is good. And it means a slightly cheaper energy bill. And it also means this guy's happier because the washing machine doesn't wobble as much. So, and then the three R's are a big thing: reduce, reuse, recycle. So there's food. I have a food recycling bin, recycling for paper and cans and card and that kind of thing. Glass, I have to go to, there's a glass bank really close by, which is handy for that. And like plant waste goes in, there's like an organic waste bin, so the food recycling can go into that, and like things like the cut grass and things. So I'm trying to reduce my food waste as much as possible anyway, but then whatever can't be used, so things like tea bags, actually things like the tea bags and the coffee grounds, I keep saying to myself that I'm gonna use them at the allotment because they're meant to deter slugs and stuff, slugs and snails, so I will get organised one day with that. Eggshells are meant to be great for that as well, and that kind of brings me on to upcycling and repurposing, which again, it's free and it's good for the planet and it feels good to do. So I always save punnets. Punnets are great, they're good for growing stuff in. I also use them as cloche lids, so when it's cooler at night, and also to help Bella-proof things here, I will put them over the top, and it still lets the heat and the light through, but it just helps protect them. That's a good thing to do for greenhouse and polytunnel plants as well, because it helps protect them from the frost a wee bit. You can also use fabric and put a fleece to put over. And then speaking of things like upcycling and repurposing, I'm going to show you a picture of Emil. Emil was my scarecrow at the allotment for a while. He was made of a load of bits and pieces that I would have had to otherwise throw out, and he lived for quite a long time. He ended up kind of going a bit mouldy and gangrenous and had to go to the scarecrow heaven in the compound, the waste skip. But it was good fun making him, and he brought a bit of fun and joy to the allotment and made good use of some things that would have just had to be, as I say, thrown out. I couldn't have donated them. They were too far gone to be reused in the charity shops or for clothing bank donations. So let me introduce you to Emil. And there's some certain types of consumer choices that I really like to make wherever possible as well. One is rehoming rescue animals, like this beautiful girl here. She's a rescue kitty cat. And my last pet, my beautiful greyhound Darren, who I miss every day, he was a rescue boy as well. And then also just items around my home. So this cat tree, this was off of, was it Facebook Marketplace, I think, or Gumtree. They're both great places to get things. Most of my furniture is secondhand. Pardon me, most of my clothes are secondhand. I usually will either swap or buy from charity shops. There's a video from before Christmas all about that, so check it out. And then the other kind of consuming is connected to the allotment. And that is, first of all, trying to grow as much of my own food as I can manage, and also just trying to eat as green as I possibly can. I don't do that 100% perfectly, but I do the best I can with it. For me personally, it feels important, because then that way I feel like I can try and make a conscious choice and that I'm helping the planet in what ways I can, reducing on food waste, reducing on the energy costs of food production as far as possible. You know, we've got to live and we've got to eat, and it's difficult, like I'd mentioned, in the supermarket, because there are so many ingredients added to so many things. It makes it very hard for us to make those kind of choices. But it just gives me peace of mind if I try and do wee bits here and there what I can. And there are still some ways to get good prices and keep the cost down as much as possible, like buying the yellow sticker items and buying deals and meal planning and batch cooking. All these things I feel help make some difference when it comes to food expenses. So some other things that I like to do that are cheap or free, eco things are, first of all, bought that bug house with a Christmas voucher a few years ago, and it's a nice way to support the local insect wildlife. Also, I usually wait for as long as possible before removing the vegetation off the ground in the winter, after winter, because it gives them more of a habitat to live in and take shelter in. And the other thing, I can't really easily find an example to show you, but I like to leave, I can hear that magpie up there, I like to try and leave some kind of gaps in the fencing, because I know that it helps the hedgehogs. If there's gaps, then it helps them go from one space to another. And there was one autumn where I did see a hedgehog down here, and it was just such a delight. It's usually the robins and different birds that come and visit, but you don't get to see as many hedgehogs. You don't get so many these days. So I want to support any wildlife wherever possible. And if it's free as well, then, you know, I can't think of any reason ever not to support these wee creatures. That's me back again. There's a lot of going back and forward in today's video. So speaking of going back and forward, walking and using public transport, they are biggies. I feel like they help the planet, they help my budget, and also I'm a non-driver, so that is how I have to get about. But I like making that choice anyway. I think it's a good one for having a lower carbon footprint. And then the last few things are all to do with giving to people and helping people. And they are making donations and like just giving in general to others. So donating, in this case, to the food bank. This is the collection of things I'm building up this year for the food bank, or charity shop donations, or giving money out of your budget. So Kate Caden and Joshua Becker talk about this in their videos. Check out their channels, they are excellent. And then giving time, care and attention to others. So holding space for others. I've always been so grateful when people hold space for me. You know, whether it's a kind listening friend or being able to phone for a bit of support during difficult times. These kind of services that are out there are just, they're so valuable and important, because we need to be cared for as well. I'm talking about the planet. Humans are a big part of the planet, so it's all about caring for people as well as animals and nature. We're a part of that nature too. So also volunteering is a great way to give back in the community and help others. It's usually, well, I think it pretty much is, most of the time is free, and even things like the travel expenses could be reimbursed. So eco-friendly but financially friendly too. So that's all the ideas for this video about eco-frugality. I hope you enjoyed having a wee chat about something a little different to do with frugal living this time. As I say, subject very close to my heart. Oops, I just lost you again there. So just wanted to say thank you so much for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed that wee video, and see you again soon. See you Saturday for Slowing It Down Saturdays. Take care and very best wishes. Bye for now.